do a couple more truth tables. On this one, we just have P and Q, so I don't need R. I do need a not P and a not Q, so I went ahead and filled those in. Now remember, everything with a parenthesis needs its own column. Okay, so the not P and Q needed a column. So let's look at this. I'm doing the not P and the Q. These two columns that I have in green. It's and, so for it to be true, they both have to be true, one and the other. So the first one's going to be false. This one is going to be false. The third row is true because I have two trues. The fourth row is false. Now let's look at what we need for the last part of it. So on this one, I'm doing the one with the parentheses or not Q. So I'm looking at these two and it's or. So if one is true, the answer is true, one or the other. So my first one is false. My second one is true. My third one is true. And my fourth one is true. So the answer for part A would be false and then three truths. Let's look at another one. The next one has R's. So I went ahead and filled in P, Q, and R. I need a not P and a not Q. I did not need a not R, so I didn't do that one. Each set of parentheses needs its own column. That's why these two have their own column, and then we're going to put them together. So let's do not P and R. So here's not P, here's R, and it's and. Okay, so one and the other have to be true. So it's going to go false, false, false on the third row. Fourth row is false, false, so that's false. The fifth row will be true. The sixth row is false. The seventh row is true because you have two trues, and the eighth row is false. Okay, let me erase that, and let's do one in green. So this one I'm doing not Q and not P. Okay, so those two columns that I have in green, it's and, so they both have to be true. So the first one I have two falses, that's false. Second row I have two falses, that's false. We're looking at the two red columns. The third row, one of them's false, so it's false. The fourth row, one of them's false, so it's false. The fifth row, one is false, so it's false. The sixth row, one is false, so it's false. And rows 7 and 8 are both true. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do those two that we have parentheses on, and it's or. So the orange and the green columns, and it's or. So if one is true, the answer is true. So I have two falses, that's false. Second row, two falses. Third row, two falses. Fourth row, two falses. Now the fifth row has a true. The sixth row has two falses. The seventh row has two trues. And the eighth row has a true. Just remember when it's or, if one or the other is true, the answer is true. So this pink column would be your answer for part B.